Hello, everybody. Dave Neal here, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. All right, I can't go 2 days without making a Tayshia video. Was she dropped or fired? Okay, that's the question we're all asking. She removed the Bachelor affiliated podcast from her Instagram bio, and they removed her. Will there be a statement? Is she just moving on? Is it that big of a deal? And does this have anything to do with Zach? Is she on the men's working things out? As we know, she's in New York. It's the dog days of winter. Everyone's trying to cuddle up in their weighted blankets and watch a couple seasons of Yellowstone. No one wants to do that alone. You can't put your stirrups on and watch season 4 of Yellowstone without a significant other, or can you? We'll have to see. Maybe things weren't too bad. We'll get into what you guys are saying about all that, and a couple other short videos that we'll cover here as well. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Follow me on Instagram at DNeals, and of course for behind the scenes Patreon only content, go to patreon.com/Dave Neal. We just broke over 200 Patreon members, so thank you guys all so much for that. And we have Taylor Nolan first. We'll play the videos of her. She just fully renovated her house. This is the before photo. They gutted the kitchen, and she mentioned how she's had to deal with different contractors ripping her off. It's like, welcome to the club. I don't think anybody can, I don't think anyone can make any progress on there. By the way, sir, okay, I'm not going to comment on wardrobe choices here. So there they are, and here's her video. I gotta adjust it so you can hear the audio there. Here's her video of her kind of digesting the moment she knew she was finally done renovating. I missed it again. She said, "I did good." Hold on a second. The fuck audio. I did good. The waves of processing homeownership, not only as a young, single, black, biracial woman, but also doing an entire remodel and seeing the vision come to fruition is just roller coaster wave. I did good, she says. Now, is this a common thing for kids? I did a good job. There will be so many memories made right here. This is just the beginning. Is it common to take videos of yourself crying? Like she had to set the camera up, get the lighting, and then months of older men in the industry not taking me seriously, not listening to me, disrespecting me, threatening me, taking advantage of me, having to hire a lawyer, all of it. Turns away, cries. Hey, but I'm happy for her. We all have that moment where you overcome some big hurdle. My chosen family and my mom helping me every step of the way, feeling so supported, like people had my back. So many memories already with the kids, my sister being here with the baby. Too much to say. I cannot believe I have a house and truly making it into a home has me so overwhelmed. Hey, I mean, good for her, right, folks? I know some people get triggered by anything Taylor Nolan. She said, I did good. There you go. I don't know. It's funny to me when it's like, all right, I'm going to cry, but not to the sound. Do we have good sound? There's a plane flying. Tell me when the plane's gone. It's gone? I did good. Meryl Streep, you're doing good. All right. Speaking of other non-related topics, have a load of this, okay? Now, look, you got to fry an egg to make an omelet or crack an egg to make an omelet. This is from a nice supporter of mine, okay? So go kind. I'm not saying this to out a supporter. I don't include their name here. But this is a photo of, I'm assuming, one of the Helmsworth brothers, a very fantastic-looking famous man. And then this is a message I just received this morning. This is what you want to. You want to have a cup of coffee before you read these types of messages. Time for a refresh on your fabulous hair. Hey, I appreciate it. You think I have fabulous hair? I got this one hair strand that's running away from the body there. That's that middle child hair strand that just won't stay home. Sending it to camp. Anyway, I appreciate you saying I have fabulous hair. What you have now is not doing anything for you. Again, somebody I don't know posting this morning. Run this one by Tayshia. Tashia's my fiance's name. I'm sure she'd approve. And I did. I ran what this person said by Tayshia, and she agreed with me that this was rude. And I said, morning, what does not doing anything for me mean? Whenever you're being sort of like, I don't know, insulted in a way, it's fun to just get clarification before you, accept those feelings, just to like confirm, what are you actually saying? And then you let them dig themselves farther. And she goes, LOL, you're young and handsome and have great hair. I'll take those 2 out of 3 compliments. Young is relative. Handsome and great hair. For sure. Make it work for you. Right now, just looks like blah. And then I said, I do appreciate the attempt at a compliment. I really do. But I think this is a rude thing to say. Oh, come on. Love you. For real. Okay, look. And again, No need to say anything else in the comment section. Let me just ask you this: rude or not rude? Okay, well, I'll let you guys decide. You know, I like to post these types of things because I think it helps drive some engagement. Because I think it's terribly rude. And honestly, it's my nature to not respond to those types of things. It actually takes a lot of effort for me to tell someone I think that's rude. Because A, I know you're supporting my channel and you like what I do. But B, you know, it's like you get a couple of those in a row and you go, what are we doing here? Do we need to set boundaries? Speaking of lack of boundaries, you guys have donated these items to victims of a typhoon in the Philippines. You guys did. Our channel. Here are just some of the things people donated and sent. These are boxes of Motrin, boxes of tents, water purifiers, and lanterns. Guys, you did this, and they have to send extra boxes. They received extra packaging that they can't fit on their flight, so they're shipping it to the Philippines right now, which is great because they had a huge typhoon in December, and they don't have access to these items. So you guys were able to help get their access. So thank you guys so much for that. All right, let's get into the story. All right, Bachelor happy hour. Was I draining the clock for 5 minutes before the Tayshia story? Maybe, but I thought that was interesting stuff to share. Bachelor happy hour. Tayshia was taken out of Bachelor happy hour Instagram bio as a co-host, but she still has the podcast in her bio. Maybe she's going back to clickbait. They didn't add her to the bio. And then we get this. She removed it from her bio, not in her. So it was a, oh, you're gonna remove me from your Instagram? Well, I'm removing you from my Instagram. We're out of here. It still says co-host of ABC's The Bachelorette, which is nice. I think most people don't believe she'll be coming back, but that's still nice. And then people posted, Tayshia no longer co-host of Bachelor Happy Hour, which, by the way, if you aren't familiar, we don't have the exact money they were making, but Jason Tartick kind of ran it down on his podcast. And when he was offered a Bachelor-affiliated podcast, it came with a 6-figure paycheck. Now, you can make a whole lot more money in Bachelor if you have a hit podcast. But the fact that they have to just turn their camera on, open their laptop, and talk from wherever they are, there's something worth not having to sell ads, book a guest. I mean, they don't book the guest. They have a producer. They just show up and do it. And 99.9% of podcasters, it's do it yourself. You control the lighting, you control the audio, you control where you host it, all the costs associated. My podcast ran for 7 years and only had one advertiser the whole time. It was a real lost expense, unless you remind yourself that whatever voice I have today is after years of chiseling it out on a podcast that nobody listened to. But they just get to go in, and again, that's part of the I don't want to call it entitlement, but the privilege of being on the show is that you can be a part of a podcast. But when they decide your time is over, then you have no control. You have no ownership over anything you created. And that's, of course, the price you pay for just being an employee versus a business owner. Like someone like Caitlin Bristow is. No one can take Off the Vine away from Caitlin Bristow. No one can take Trading Secrets away from Jason Tartick. Those are their podcasts. They have ownership over them. Could Tayshia have decided to walk away? Absolutely. Tayshia running towards 2 million followers, big time, has worked in non-Bachelor capacities as sort of entertainment news. But the question is, will she transcend Bachelor Nation, or is she just a commodity within the franchise? And that's going to depend on her fan base and whether or not she gets one of these bigger gigs. She might decide to take some time off and consider a tell-all book, as we saw with Hannah Brown. It's guaranteed money. It's good money. But let's see what he said. I'm surprised that she still has co-host of The Bachelorette. That gig is done too. While the new season is not filming, she still can run with it. Maybe she needs time to step away for a bit. She went through the breakup while hosting the show and the podcast. This is what I don't get. Like, maybe it's just me as a multitasker. Who in their right mind would turn down a 6-figure income that perfectly fits into whatever else you're doing? Now, I work probably 50 hours a week. I do stand-up comedy. I do this. I'm auditioning for a network TV show today. Yes, with this hair. Maybe not that piece. We'll have to gel that back. We'll see if the casting director agrees this isn't doing anything for me. Probably. I'll get my hair cut when you know what? I was going to get my hair cut recently too, and now I'm annoyed because I'm like, well, if I get my hair cut, this person's going to think I did it because of them. My hair, it'll get cut when it gets cut. Anyway, so I just don't understand, with flexible incomes, it's hard to burn away a 6-figure income when all you have to do is talk for a couple hours a week, if that. I mean, it's so much money. Anyway, I know a lot of you guys are listening to this from whatever job you're at going, I would kill for that. But if you're making enough money, then you just don't need it. So maybe she's making enough money in other places and she's like, it just isn't worth it. Or like we said, they decided they wanted fresh blood. I don't think they would have fired her. She's a pretty big name in Bachelor Nation. I love Tayshia, but her hosting skills, not so much. She still has co-host though, even though, call me crazy, but Tayshia is working on a relationship with Zach and she wants it to not be public. Rumors and living under a magnifying glass create tension. I don't think that the tension would be there to be a host of the podcast. B, maybe is taking a break from being the Bachelorette again. Why not? Especially if a big check comes in as a bonus. C is tired from Bachelor Nation and needs to move on with her life. D, and then D, most likely none of these answers are even close and I need a life. They're all plausible. Someone said Tayshia was mediocre on both CB and Bachelor Happy Hour, so hopefully she's moving on to something that suits her better. I think Zoom interviews, the way they do them, is a very tough thing to do. It's a very tough conversation to have, and I understand why people like Grocery Store Joe look like they don't want to be there, because it's like who does? I mean. The paycheck's great. I think she may have something else big coming outside of Bachelor Nation, maybe a hosting, reporting role for gossip media like E! News. I feel like Tayshia is trying her relationship with Zach and no longer wants to be in podcast spotlight to do that. She's still going to do her ads on Instagram, but I feel like she wants time away from Bachelor Nation, which is what a lot of people are thinking. We know we broke the news with others that Tayshia Tayshia broke the news on Instagram that she wasn't going to be hosting the After the Final Rose. My first gut reaction was something was fishy about this. She said she was exposed to COVID, and I go, that seems kind of odd. You didn't test positive. You're as a host of a TV show, you have unlimited resources. Even in New York City, she could walk into any ABC production facility and get on the spot testing from doctors. And I know it doesn't always show right away, but my point being, following all CDC guidelines, she could have flown to Los Angeles and kept on testing all the way up until the show. My thought was that the producers said, hey, you've been exposed to COVID, so no, we think Caitlyn will have this, and she doesn't really have a voice to say, no, I want to be there. Is it in her contract? I'm sure the contracts were very lenient towards the producers and very much giving zero control for them. So it makes you wonder, did she not play ball on the Mental All episode when she was supposed to talk more about her breakup? Did she do something wrong where the producers go, you know what? We're just going to take Caitlyn for this and we don't need you. Thank you for your service. You're dismissed now. And that could have been what happened. And if that was the case, you could understand why Tayshia wouldn't want the 6-figure gig. She'd have to rethink her livelihood and go, you know what? I don't really need to be dealing with all of this. People had posted, would anyone actually like to see Tayshia and Zach getting back together? I know they've had their stuff come out about them, but I really still love these two together and hope they can work it out. For Tayshia to leave him so abruptly, I have to believe that something was deeply wrong in their relationship. We don't see what goes on behind closed doors, so the breakup could be due to either of them being at fault or no one being at fault. So there's so many speculations as to what could actually happen. And a lot of people out here like you and myself are just wondering, is it done? And I don't really do this. You guys know this. I don't really do this about many relationships. We get excited when Dale and Claire come back together and whatever other relationships drop. But I don't really root for relationships. But I just don't understand, and a lot of us, no one does, why this relationship ended and if it could be fixed now that she doesn't have all of the other distractions. Sometimes people say that distractions are what kept the relationship going on for as long as it did. Otherwise, she would have addressed root problems. And in the reverse could be true, that the distractions, being Bachelorette host, all these big glamorous things going on, could have made her, pushed her away from her relationship. And now it's the middle of winter. She's back in New York City. She has a few weeks to breathe. Will she have a conversation with Zach? Will they get back together? We'll be the first to talk about it if they do. Let me know what you guys think. More content coming up after I go to the hair salon. Hey, Claire Crowley, can you fix this mop of mine? We'll talk to you guys a little bit.